A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu. Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths but have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer. You ask me, I'll tell you anything.
You turn on such a dime, and we've talked about this on the show before. You let things go really quickly because you burn hot and burn out fast. And so
my AirPods weren't connecting, and I'm like, let's move on. And you're like, you really turned. What am I supposed to be like? I need to talk about.
No, because they weren't connecting, and you were not happy about it. And then the minute they connected, I got a nice big smile from you. Were really just like happy they connected. There was no grudge held. You were just like, oh, they're working now. Great.
Yeah, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Be like, I just need to process my Bluetooth connectivity. We spend so much. I guess it was just like, in that moment, I gave it up to like, yeah, of course people believe in like weird gods doing things because there's no reason that these Bluetooth AirPods wouldn't connect this time when they always did before. Like, it does feel like your fate is in the hands of randomness. So I'm glad to not be dealing with it because it's bullshit. Like, there's no reason it should take 5 minutes to connect when it never did before.
Someone's going to tell it right in like, oh, the moon was in the sun and the Mercury was in retrograde. And so no one's electronics are working. I'm like, that's what I hear every time someone's electronics don't work. Every day.
Literally not a thing. Literally not a thing. But that's cool if you need the planets to explain why you're a bitch. I am also in like a very chipper mood this morning. I got invited to a Pilates class, and I usually do it at home, and it was early. So I went. I was like, I'm going to show them what I can do. And it is like I had a real job because it like got me out into the city, and I was like up and doing stuff and just like I was out.
You got invited by a friend. So for a second, I thought you just meant like you got invited. I was like, can't you sign up? But like a class was like, Iliza, please come.
No, Pilates instructors hear about me and they're like, will she come to our class? Yeah. And then I like met someone for coffee, and I was just driving around the city as if it's a manageable city. And I didn't really have coffee this morning. And what I've realized today is that I actually don't need coffee. I have a lot of energy without it.
Where'd you go for not a coffee then?
Went to some coffee place and I ordered a cold. I go, can I get decaf? And they were like, our decaf is espresso. I was like, oh, I don't like espresso. And I go, I'll just get a cold brew. He's like, you went from decaf to cold brew? I was like, and I literally had so much energy that I took one sip and I was like, I can't touch this. So I brought it home. And I have to be honest, this was going to be part of my top or bottom of the cob. Like, I've just been feeling so anxious lately. And I'm like, it can't just be being a mom, and it can't just be the state of the world, and it can't just be the Jewish thing. I was like, for no reason. And I was like, you don't need a full cup of coffee. And so today I was like, I'm going to have a sip, go to class. I had plenty of energy and I have plenty of energy, and it's an 80s punchline, but I think I'm going to switch to decaf. Like, I don't need this anxiety at all hours. And it's because I have like a cup and a half of coffee, and I've learned to be comfortable. I'm like, ooh, the anxiety is the buzz. I love it. And it's like, no, you are gnawing on your lip at 8 o'clock at night. And I don't even drink the coffee past like noon. So just going to limit that caffeine, even though it wasn't that much.
Okay, well, I have a related fight me, so I'm going to share.
Okay, so we're just ignoring everything I just said.
Well, it's
let's
related
do
to
it.
what you just said because you.
I know, but I felt like there was I was like, we got to wrap it up.
Well,
And we moved
okay.
on.
You know what we can speak to? How does this affect your coffee list?
It doesn't. I will still always go because it's the ritual of, like, yesterday I was fully caffeinated and I was like, ooh, let's stop for a coffee. And it's like, even if my stomach is like violently against it, I just, it's the culture, not the coffee.
That's
It's
fair.
coffee. It's culture, not coffee. All right, let's hear it.
Culture, not coffee. All right.
Sorry, let me introduce it as only I know how. Now it's time for Fight Me.
Hi, AIA crew. This is Justina, and I love Starbucks. And I will tell you why. I worked there for 6 years. They paid for my college. I got a science degree in nutrition. I work in public health now. I love, love, love my job. I would never have been able to afford to get through school. I have children. They're all grown now, but they were insured through Starbucks, working part-time. Yes, 20 hours a week, and you get college paid for and insurance. And it's good insurance. It is not schlocky insurance. So I do try to support small coffee houses whenever I'm out in the wild and I see one. But I got to be honest, the majority of the time, I just don't like their coffee. Sorry. So I love Starbucks. Fight me.
I will fight you, Justina. Acting all high and mighty with your public service job, like you're better than me. She's saying she worked part-time and that helped pay for college?
Yeah, that they had really good insurance, that it was,
Right.
yeah.
First of all, they fucking should. This is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. We have been gaslit into thinking that if you work for a company, like maybe they won't provide the best. They should. And even part-time, I don't know about part-time, but that's amazing that you got those benefits. They've long been touted for their decent hourly wages and their insurance plans. People don't like them because they don't like unions. People also don't like them because they don't hate Jews. I simply don't drink them because I like a kitschier experience. But it has nothing to do with anything other than that. And I think their drinks are just mostly sugar and not really coffee most of the time.
So I have two thoughts on this. One being, it's very funny. She didn't ever say Starbucks coffee is good. She said she doesn't like the taste of some smaller coffee houses, but she never said, I love the taste of Starbucks. She just loves what Starbucks did, which fair.
And that, okay, I'm going to say this before that can influence it. I will fight you on, I don't like the taste. Smaller coffee houses, that doesn't make sense because each one has its own beans. Either they roast them or they get them from a roaster, and it's not a uniform thing.
Well,
so that's like saying, like, I don't go to restaurants. I don't like their water.
Well,
like in any state, in any city.
I would argue that if you want a McNugget, you don't want a chicken tender. That a McNugget is a kind of pink chicken goo. So a Starbucks is a kind. It's my one argument. I'm always talking about McNuggets.
You just want that food argument. You're like, is a pita a sandwich?
No, but like,
let's go to Reddit.
You know what to expect. But here's the other piece of this. I think our listeners would never do this to us. I think Justina is sharing a very good fight me, knowing that it's something that you've talked about. But there is a real rise. I just saw actually on Reddit, like 20% of posts are fake product posts. So somebody will post like, oh, this pizza oven thing, this pizza stone, I can't believe it. I've had it 20 years. It works incredibly. And then the top comment will be like, wow, this kind of pizza stone, incredible. Or someone will be like, oh, today I fucked up. I had the spicy ghost pepper from Wendy's, and the photo has like the Wendy's bag very placed in the ad. There is so much now fake because we've all grown so wise to advertising that there's like so many like psyops. Like Justina didn't do this, but this is the kind of ads that Starbucks would do where it's like, I actually love them.
Or is the money Justina got from this how she paid for her daughter's college with a part-time job?
Yeah.
Scammer. Look, look, a caramel frappuccino is tasty. And as long as you're drinking it, knowing that it's not good for you, I guess it's okay. They're not doing anything wrong. I just prefer, that being said, I love Dunkin' Donuts. I think, but if you gave me a Starbucks, I wouldn't be like, get rid of this. It's just, I don't have an inherent issue with them.
Yeah.
I do think sometimes the coffee tastes burnt, but then again, I don't love the taste of coffee. I put a lot of half and half in mine. So no fight. That's great. And they should be taking care of you. And those guys do work really hard. Like, you set this trend of like customizing every 8 ingredient drink, and each person has their own like hack, and you just turn them. Yeah, you're on your feet. You're calling out like, Gerald, party of 2, decaf latte, half cap, no foam, hop top whip.
Yeah.
Pol pot. Yeah. Let's get to do you have any updates? Have you done your job?
I've done here's the thing. Sometimes the updates, they just work out. Like, what is there to say at a certain point?
Totally fair. And usually you give them to us and it's like, well, I already didn't get married, but thank you for answering it a year later.
Yeah.
We're inundated. It's such a popular podcast.
We do have a lot of questions.
That's why Boll and Branch advertises with us. BetterHelp, all the B's.
We only accept advertisers that start with a B.
Yeah. Boniva, Benefol, Belvita. Calcium chews, dog food, and those digestive crackers.
You would be lucky to get any of those advertising on the show.
Yo, Benefol, hook it up. Boniva, I'm going to start needing you soon. And those chews are tasty.
Yeah.
Take it. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling. And nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza. Moving on.
Dear Liza, Emily, and gang, I have a wedding question I don't think you've heard, and I desperately need your sage advice. I, 28, female, have 2 best friends, Ryan, a girl, and Thomas, a gay guy.
A girl. Okay.
Neither of them live in my city. Ryan is my best friend since childhood. Thomas is my best friend from college. Thomas invited me to be a groomsmaid in his wedding next April in New York City.
Grooms? That sounds so medieval. Like a groomsmaid. He stowed away with a groomsmaid.
We are also doing a bachelor party in Mexico in March. Him and his fiance are very type A, so they already have invitations out. Not save the dates, full on invites. Ryan is going to have a destination wedding in Costa Rica, and my parents will be invited as well. I thought I was going to be a bridesmaid and her wedding was going to be the week after Thomas's. Well, I get a box in the mail and she has asked me to be the maid of honor, and the wedding is now on the same date as Thomas's. I am devastated and don't know what to do.
Go with the girl. The end of the story. She asked you to be something more important and you've known her longer and she's a girl.
No.
And she will hold it against you and write into our podcast.
No. I called her just to tell her of the predicament. She was very understanding, said she'd change the date if she could, and she wouldn't be offended if I had to miss or somehow split the time and try to come to Costa Rica in the days after her wedding since I'll still be there. I've not yet told Thomas. I'm equally close to both of them. I've seen both in the last few months in person, and both of their weddings are guaranteed to be bangers. I can't stomach the idea that I would be absent from either of their weddings. I feel like I have to attend Ryan since I'd be the maid of honor and my parents will be there. But how would I make it up to Thomas? I think I also might have already RSVP'd yes to him first. If it was any other 2 friends, I wouldn't mind so much, but this feels gut-wrenching to me. What would you do? Sincerely, a girl who thought she was going to have the best week of her life in 2025.
Okay. That is a horse of a different color. You RSVP'd to his first.
And he sent his invite first.
I will say, okay. However, to back out now I'm just putting this out there, doesn't change anything. It's not like they've already paid for it. Like it's X amount. It would be if it was like day before or whatever, but like these things are still able. You do the RSVP out this far because things change. Okay. So it's still equal footing. You could King Solomon the whole thing. And if you tell Thomas the same thing you told Ryan, Thomas hopefully would say, oh my God, I understand. If you can't make it, we'll make it work. We'll be sad, but whatever. If he is like, no, this is really shitty, then you should miss his.
I don't know. This is really hard because even though logistically, yes, like you're trying to let them know early, you're doing everything you can to make this not shitty. You do have a more important role in Ryan's, but your parents will be there. But you said yes to Thomas. And if I was Thomas and you had said yes to me, and then you were like, no matter how you pitch, it's going to feel like you got a better offer because you did.
No, but a true friend would, and you did. It's not even better. It's just different. I guess you have, like I said, you're the maid of honor, which is a more important role versus just one of a few people. And your parents will be there. And this is like a childhood best friend. Thomas asked you to be a groomsmaid. So even though you won't be there, you're not the groomsmaid of honor. Like it will be a little bit less, there's less on you.
But what if Thomas is like, okay, then you're the maid of honor at mine?
No, I think you could go either way. You could do Emily's way, which I don't disagree with, which I already said yes to Thomas. And if you're willing to fling yourself around, that's great that you could go in the days after because they'll still be there. And that is, yeah, it sucks to miss the wedding, but it is about being with them. Think about yourself too. Like, are these both easy to get to? Do you have the money for both? It sucks because I bet you both friends are pretty understanding. And so I would just let the fact that you RSVP'd to Thomas first dictate it.
Also, the fact you're going on a bachelor party with Thomas in Mexico in March. So it's like, is that?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I thought the wedding was in Mexico.
So Ryan's wedding is in Costa Rica.
I know those are different places.
Thomas's wedding is in New York, but they already have like their bachelor party planned for Mexico. So you'll be celebrating with him.
Yeah. So I can't give you the advice because you really could you could celebrate with him and then he could have his wedding. You could celebrate with him and do his wedding and then just meet your friend after. It really comes down to which one will it be more meaningful for either of you to go to. And you're saying you're friends equally. There's no such thing. I think either way you can't go wrong. That's what I think.
I would agree. It sounds like Ryan's already very cool about it. Based on you and Ryan, I guess Thomas will be cool. I think you would have mentioned if you thought Thomas was going to flip. You said they're both type A, or Thomas is type A. But Ryan's got her invites out early. I think they're good friends and this isn't going to be a life ruiner, but it does suck.
It does suck. But the good news is it's not you're damned if you do, if you don't. Either way, it's going to be okay. But just remember, you are one person. So flinging yourself all the way to New York and then down to Costa Rica, like that's a lot. Yeah. So and it is about them and their new spouses. So it's great that you're there for like a meal, but like they don't really, it's about the two of them. So whether it's dinner together after they're married or being there for the point is that you support them and that you're giving a gift, you're buying the dress and you're at the bachelor thing. But once they've stood up at the wedding, like the rest of the wedding, like you don't even see them. Like they're dancing, they're with their partner. Like, don't overestimate the importance of you being there. So do what's easiest for you and just know that either way, it's fine. The question is, which wedding will be cooler? Do you want to dance with monkeys in Costa Rica or do you want to get a cab and be in New York?
Dance with some rats in New York.
You want to dance with a rat or a sloth?
I would love to dance with a rat.
Moving right along. Yeah, you would. I bet you have. May I have this dance?
I was thinking I've held a rat. I don't think we danced.
When you dance with the rat, is it a boy or a girl?
A boy, probably.
Doesn't it feel like all rats are boys?
It
like
kind of does. Yeah, mice are girls.
Yes, that's why the Nutcracker is all about gendered mice.
Like cats and dogs.
There you go. There you go.
Dear Iliza, Emily, babies, both human and animal, and of course, Hot Scotty #1. I know you're wanting some more unique questions. I think this might be a new one for you. I'm currently fun employed, as I like to call it, while I am transitioning to a new country and awaiting my visa approval. I'm applying for a partner visa to the UK, which can take a few months. I was previously living in another country, and my partner and I decided to return to his home country to start setting down roots. We are both 30. My unemployment began in January, and I've been staying in my home country since March. It's a big transition year to begin with, and this tops it off and really has strained my idea of myself and where I thought I was going to be at this age. I'm not worried about money as I have plenty of savings to keep afloat as I wait for my visa, but I feel like I'm in a rut. Extra context, I studied a unique major in uni, but only worked a few years in my field before moving countries. It has been about 5 years since I worked in this field, and a lot has changed technologically, and I'm worried my skills are rusty. I'm worried about not having enough experience to be hired in a new country in this field, but I'm extremely unmotivated to do any work towards relearning these skills. I'm having a hard time really doing anything except eating and sleeping. I got back into reading finally, which was a big win, but not much else has happened. I've had small spurts of motivation, but they don't tend to last long, and I fall back into my rut very quickly. I know I should appreciate this time off, as not many people get the opportunity to spend 6 months off of work, but I feel like I'm squandering it. There are a lot of things I want to be doing, working out, relearning my skills, researching jobs, even learning Spanish and doing crafts, but I feel like I'm in a frozen state. Have you ever had a moment in your life like this? Emily, have you? Do you have any advice to help get me out of this place I'm in and be able to utilize the free time I am so lucky to have? Thank you both so much for your help. Iliza, I've been a fan since your first Netflix special. My mom and I love to rewatch specials and recite them to each other. Thank you for being amazing. All the love from an OG anonymous fan.
I'm going to ask you a question you're going to have to dig deep to answer. I'm going to preface it by saying, is the skill set that you have, you've been out of this job for 5 years, is the visa that you're getting to hopefully work in that same industry?
Theoretically.
You might not want that job anymore. I'm just going to say this. Like, I appreciate that there's burnout and stuff like that. This might not be what you want to do. And you applied for it and you're waiting for it, but this downtime might be the time that you're realizing, like, I don't care about this. It also could just be a job and not a passion. I will tell you that a body in motion stays in motion. So it is very normal to have downtime and you become unmotivated because there's seemingly no end. You actually don't know when this visa is going to come in and you are afraid to commit to doing anything because you're like, well, what if I have to leave in 2 weeks? I think that there is something to be said for the body and the mind needing a break. For what it's worth, I never push myself to write jokes or to work if I don't feel it. Because I think we're a society that exhausts people and we all feel exhausted. And like, if you are being this lazy, like there's probably a reason you need it. That being said, it is hard to get motivated when you have no like parameters. So you are in this sort of frozen state, but I wonder too, if it all just seems so overwhelming right now. It's basically like the idea of like, just run. We will tell you when to stop running. And you're like, okay, well, just need some. If they were like, you're starting your job in 6 weeks, you might be one of those people that just needs to see a finish line. So don't beat yourself up. Definitely sit down with yourself and see if this job and technology, whatever is still something you want. Because if it is something you want and you don't have the same skill set, you would think something in you would be like, we need to pick this back up. But maybe you got to this place and now you're realizing you don't want it. So I would check in with yourself. Or pay for something very expensive like lessons or a membership that will be a lot of money down the drain if you don't go. And that's a great way to motivate you to learn Mandarin.
I think you need to set time every day to do something like from 2 to 3. You need to have a goal. And what you need to first do is look at what jobs exist in the city that you're moving to. Do jobs exist in your field? Will it be easy? What experience do they require? Then you need to backtrack from there to, do you have that experience and those skills? Because you don't want to show up in that country and then there are no jobs available. You can start figuring out now, oh, there are no jobs in my field. What else do I want to do? What else can I look at? You either need to spend 60 minutes a day looking, or you need to find 5 job listings that you read thoroughly. Like, you need something where you can say, I accomplished X and now I don't have to worry. Because I have this where there's just kind of a bunch of random things I need to get done. So I don't do them, but I also don't have fun because I'm just like laying there scrolling my phone thinking about how I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If you accomplish a thing each day, you can say, okay, I spent an hour doing this. Now I don't have to feel guilty for the rest of the day. I can relax.
You'd be surprised too. Sometimes like if I don't know, have an event and they've asked me to do stand up and I have to like tailor something to it, I'll just kind of think about it a little bit and I'll put a little bit of thought every few days. And then by the end, I'm like, oh, I got there. Oh, it happened. So maybe it is every day at 9, I'm going to read this. Every day at 11, I'm going to do 1 hour of Spanish. Like, you don't need to, it's this myth that it's like, I'm going to be super productive and I'm going to do all these things. I think you're very normal. Set a small goal. And usually that motivation begets more motivation. But I get it. At the end of 6 months, you don't want to be like, I literally did nothing and I watched all of Love Island.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't watch Love Island to do your 1 hour of whatever.
Read up on the area. Read up on real estate, where you're going to live, what you're going to do. Just start getting familiar. That way when you get there, you're not starting completely from scratch.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light. as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Everybody sleeps, but no two people sleep alike. At Coop Sleep Goods, we celebrate the way you sleep differently. We believe everyone deserves a great night's sleep with their own pillow, and the adjustable, customizable Coop pillow makes it easy. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or even a starfish, we've got the perfect pillow for you. Crafted with our innovative memory foam and microfiber fill, our hypoallergenic pillows adjust to you, not the other way around. Just tailor the fill for the perfect fit. Add some in, take some out, until your pillow's just right for you. See why luxury hotels and spas worldwide feature Coop Sleep Goods and why we have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. With our 100-night risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose, except those sleepless nights. Get up to 50% off selected items during our Black Friday Cyber Monday sale when you visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy.
Hello, Iliza, Emily, Lil Snow Peach, and the hottest of Scotties. I think I'm being ghosted from a friend that I've known since college, and I'm not sure what to do. We've been good friends since college, and I have been ghosted since April 1st. She hasn't responded to my texts, and she hasn't responded to our Instagram messages since end of January. I can see she's on Instagram because she's been posting reels, and the funny videos I've sent her are marked as seen.
Okay, so she's not dead.
Mhm.
We all thought she was dead. Everybody listening thought she was dead. Okay.
I'm not trying to be stalkery. I just don't understand why she stopped talking to me. I can't think of anything I've done to make her upset. I know I'm not the best at reaching out to friends, but I'm trying to be better. I don't want this friendship to die. I understand life gets busy, but we should try to make time for friends. We went abroad together for 2 weeks in Japan. Part of me is mad as well as sad. Is she too busy with work and her boyfriend that I don't matter anymore? What should I do? The last text I sent her said, "Hey, blank, are you doing all right? I haven't heard from you in a while. Did I do something to upset you? Do I pull the plug on this friendship or get the crash cart and try to resuscitate? Thank you, Anonymous." You already
I'm like, is she the girl that cheated on her boyfriend in Japan with that girl that did that 2-week trip from Rivergo?
maybe.
I guess part of me was like, is this political? Did one of you post something weird, anti or pro Israel, and the other one didn't like it? And she, did you post something political that was divisive? And she, like a lot of us, was just like, I don't have room for this person in my life. Whether it's a local election, I'm wondering if it's that, because that is something that we tend to do. We're like, you hate me and everything I stand for. Got it. But I don't think that happened. You want an answer. It is incredibly shitty to do this to someone. And you know what? The answer still wouldn't be okay. If she was like, oh my God, I've just been busy. You'd be like, for months and ignoring me? I know you don't want to call her because we've gotten it in our society that calling someone is a stalker thing to do. But I think this is really hurting your feelings. And you could have texted her that and she saw it and then she forgot about it, whatever, or she doesn't have the guts. Is that I would either write an email or call. And when you call, just be like, hey, I just wanted to catch up. The last thing I wrote you, just say what you feel. Be like, I just haven't heard from you and I couldn't gauge if something was wrong or if I done something. I just wanted to say hi. And that, she probably won't even answer the phone. But I think if you reach out one more time, then you need to put it to bed. Then you can rest knowing that it's not something you did or this person's just weird or they're just rude. But it is odd. But once again, without the context, I can't really, who knows, And you're still Instagram friends. She didn't block you.
I think there's nothing left to be. You sent the text saying, "Are you mad at me? Are you okay?"
Yeah.
I don't think there's, what do you say after? She didn't answer.
True.
I also wonder what you are sending. So you said she's seen your funny videos on Instagram. Okay, everybody's sending each other funny reels on Instagram. People send me reels and I just like them. I don't need to have a conversation about every reel. But
I literally don't send me any reels. Nobody likes that. So don't do that. Nobody wants to be like, LOL, a
But-
chicken.
let's talk about the texting that you haven't heard from her. Now, I 100% have had friends where they are just not, and then I'll hear from them like 2 months later, like, oh, so sorry. And I'm like, whatever. You just know that's the
No.
kind of friend they are, and you don't, you move on. But if this was someone, did you have a really close relationship? You said you went to Japan together, your friends together. How long ago was that? Are you?
What we're
in
missing
similar
is the
life
true
places?
context.
Right.
When's the last time you saw this person? When did you go to Japan? Again, I don't know the kind of things you post or that she posts, but I will say, I know I told you to like reach out earlier. People show you who they are. And quite frankly, if she's never been the kind of person who doesn't answer and is flaky and then all of a sudden starts doing it, it sounds like it's a thing with you. Or you weren't or you did nothing and you weren't important enough to her. This relationship for her to get back to. Are you going to be okay if I kind of want to have Scott take out my advice, but we're going to leave it there because I'm not infallible. I'm a person. Are you going to be okay if in 2 months she reaches out like, hey, sorry, I just been slammed. Like, then you'll be like, oh, cool. So I'm just dirt and you don't care. I think you give us a little bit more context, but if all things are normal and none of you care about Israel, then I think you just let this go. Because it is possible you drifted away long before this and you're just cluing in now.
Yes. Yes. Maybe you don't have anything in common. I
will say since becoming a mom, there are times, this is the first time in my life where I'm like, oh my God, I didn't write back to this text. And that's just with like the little bit of parenting that I do.
Mhm.
But we have enough ways to communicate with people and text etiquette is prevalent enough that like she knows. So
Yeah.
either she's stupid or she's in on it. Like I always say, either way, unless you're a total psycho, which the jury's still out, I suggest you move on.
Yeah. Right back justifying why you're in the right.
Yeah. I mean, you could, if you really want to put a nail in that coffin, first of all, you should just mute her on Instagram because who cares what she's doing, but you could just unfollow her.
I don't even
If
know if
you
you
wanna-
need to. Just stop sending her
do it.
videos.
Yeah. Also stop sending videos. Nobody wants that. Mom, dad, please. Because I'll get them for my mom and they'll just be like 7 videos with just like, this is a great idea for Sierra. And I'm like, but I can't keep a catalog of like all of these. And then my dad sends me like the most rudimentary, like just like somebody falling or like a chicken doing a dance, like thinks it's hilarious. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how to, what do I do, like repost this?
Can you share this with your audience? Look at this chicken
just-
go.
I'll just start sending them to you, Emily. Oh, look, a funny looking pug. All right.
Hi, Eliza and Emily. I'm a big fan of your show. I'm attending my baby cousin's first birthday party soon, and I'm not sure what a good baby gift entails. Her mother, also my cousin, and I are very close. We only see each other about once a year due to living in states miles apart. Since we do not see each other often, I want to get her baby a kick-ass present. I have no children of my own and have no idea what to get her. Should I also get something for the mom? This will
Yes.
be my first time meeting my baby cousin in person. I know cash is always a good option, but since our time in person
No.
is always limited, I want the gift to be useful and or meaningful. The last baby gift I gave them was 2 different onesies, one labeled Protected by Rocky, Honey, and Baby Girl, which are their family doggo names, and a onesie that had a tribute to the show Friends. I know I probably provided more context than needed.
Did it say pivot?
What? I'm trying to think what, there's probably something about babies.
Pivot. Okay.
Probably provide more context than needed, but I figured this would be something you'd appreciate being a fellow dog lover. I've already asked my cousin if there's anything in particular she or baby needed, and her direct response was, nothing in particular, really. She has so many things already. LOL.
Yeah.
Help. And here's why I read this question specifically. Feel free to use my full name, Michaela Lovett from LFK, Lawrence fucking Kansas. This is how we Lawrencians embrace the town's quirkiness. P.S. My best
Rock
friend who lives in
chalk.
Philadelphia and I are planning a girls' trip to your New York show in October.
I love that. We just added a second date. Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, go KU. I went there for 1 year. Lawrence is an awesome town. You know, it is that tough thing. If you do have stuff for your baby, people give you stuff and then you're like up to your ears in
Crap.
clothing that they can only wear once. I mean, it's always great to get books, but like then you have so many. And there is something to be said for when you're gifted. This is a champagne problem. So much stuff, you kind of forget that it's there. Like if this is like meant for them when they're 3, then you're just holding on to it. Like it's a lot of clutter. There's always the gifts that like grow with kids. It's like a lot of those like Dutch wooden block things that like, and then when they're 2, you flip it over. Like things that age up with the kid. I have started when I go to kids' birthday parties, just so you know, we have not thrown Sierra a 1-year-old birthday party or a 2-year-old birthday party. She's a baby. We give her some fruit and grandma comes over.
Oh my God, she's
Like,
already
okay.
2.
She's like 2.5. I know it's crazy. I've just started bringing the parents a really nice bottle of wine. I'm like, the kid has enough. You're fine. Kids don't really need that much. For what it's worth, when Sierra was born, my neighbor gave us these things called magnet tiles that her kids loved. It was just a box. She was like, here you go. And I was like, what is this? And my daughter is 2.5 and obsessed with them.
Oh.
So if your friend is a fan of me, just know that my daughter plays with magnet tiles and builds chairs and she loves to smash them. So, but yeah, what you don't want to do is give her a big chunk of plastic that just sits there.
No.
And the clothing thing is tough because they do grow out of it so fast. You know what's always nice, which you probably already has? Like an embroidered baby blanket. Like a nice one, not just like some mass-produced one where you can slap a name on it.
Mhm.
Maybe something handmade from Etsy.
Mhm.
Like a little nightlight with the kid's name on it. Something that they can have forever. Or if you got a lot of money, you can always do like a Tiffany's rattle, which I guess the baby's already won. But
Yeah.
that's it. Or say you're taking the friend to dinner or something, but don't worry about it too much.
Yeah.
Or it's a book that you can sign and be like, this was me and your mom's favorite thing. Or a book that you love that you still own. Like my daughter's going to get all my problematic Roald Dahl books.
That's perfect. I don't have any advice.
Give an adult, give her some shrooms and be like, take a day off from the baby.
I'll watch
Do
the
some
baby.
self-realization.
Yeah.
We'll both take shrooms. I'll watch the baby.
Mm.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we have a large update that leads into a question.
Red Hot Update.
Hey, Liz family, and all the adorable babies, furry and otherwise. My wife and I are avid pod fans and followers and have written in before. We refer to you as our older sister and often frame tough situations with, this is how I think Iliza would respond. Emily, if you ever relocate to New Jersey and need a friend, I would like to volunteer to be your official root beer taster buddy. Thank you. Here's my
That's
update.
so cute.
In 2022, I wrote in during one of the hardest moments in my life. I had bought and renovated a house for my mom and dumped my entire savings into this property, i.e., trying to buy my mom's closeness and love. I come from an abusive family and upbringing, emotionally and otherwise, with horribly immature parents. My mom felt entitled to my labor and money. Despite the constant boundary pushing on her part and me trying to set boundaries for myself, she continued to show just how little she respected my needs and how I was a means to an end. The final straw came when she refused to sign a lease, a boundary my therapist suggested I put in place because it clearly outlined she was not to smoke pot in the house. This caused her to have a temper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
This caused her to have a temper tantrum, and after months of arduous labor and money, she refused to move into the house because I wouldn't let her have her medicine, even though this was something we'd already agreed to. My question to you was whether or not I should allow her to my wedding. You suggested that I invite her because I might regret it one day. Well, I actually didn't take that advice. I blame me.
Ew.
I'm telling you, this is most people write in and say all good or I didn't take it. I blame me not giving you enough context, though. My wedding was wonderful,
Yeah.
and I was
No,
more
your fault.
relieved knowing that she wouldn't suck the oxygen out of the room. Fast forward 2 years, and I still have no contact with her and a majority of my family, and it honestly has felt like the most freeing 2 years of my life. I've come to find out just how horribly manipulative and toxic the dynamics are. My life with my wife is so healthy and normal. It has given me much needed perspective. Well, that and years of therapy. In a previous podcast,
And listening to this podcast.
yes. In a previous podcast, you answered a similar question about a woman whose dad was equally horrible. Your advice to that listener was even more healing, as you recommended little to no context.
I thought you were going to say your advice. I thought you were like your advice to her was equally horrible.
No.
And I don't know why you keep doing
It was
this.
better. That listener was better with context. So here's my present day question. I promise I will take your advice this time.
Uh-oh.
I am now 9 months pregnant and expecting my first child. I only talked to 2 of my family members, my sister and my cousin. Well, my cousin Leanne got super weird when I announced my pregnancy. We are close in age and share mutual friends and grew up together. She came from equally toxic parents and is still all over the spectrum in terms of behavior and emotional maturity. 1 minute, she'll be running around with her shoes off at a park. The next minute, she'll be cursing like a sailor because she's frustrated at something inane. Not exactly stable. She's always made our relationship out to be more than it is. She often tells people we are sisters. While I feel a bit of an obligation to her to be a source of at least one stable relationship in her life, the feeling is not mutual. During my wedding, she said she was hurt that she was not the maid of honor, even though me and my wife only had one person stand by our side. My best friend from childhood by mine and my wife's sister by hers. My cousin even showed up wearing bridesmaids' colors to the wedding.
Oh my God.
She has cheated on her husband multiple times.
Wait, hold on. Why would you ever willingly wear bridesmaids' colors? You're like, I just had this mustard and navy halter dress and I needed to wear it.
That's how we know she's a maniac.
Yeah.
She's cheated on her husband multiple times, and she even has had an abortion from one of these affairs. She talks often about how she doesn't think people should bring children into this world. So when I shared my pregnancy with her, I was surprised at how over the moon she was. She sent a package of over $200 of Amazon stuff I didn't need and kept telling me all the stuff she's going to do once the baby was here. While I appreciated the thoughtfulness, the behavior made it very much about her. She even said to my wife and I, keep the name Lily on the table for the name, as if she had an equal say in naming our child. She invited herself to the delivery room during the birth. She even bought a huge sunflower maxi dress for the baby shower. The theme was sunflowers. She told us she was going to make the biggest diaper cake we ever saw, which we didn't want or need, but I didn't want to burst her bubble, so I didn't say anything.
You didn't need diaper cake? Everybody needs diaper cake. Yeah, Emily got me a diaper hoagie.
Oh, yeah, diaper cake. That's like, it's just a bunch of diapers in a pile, right?
Yeah, Emily, it's not a cake made of like
Well,
mixed
I know.
in used diapers.
I use diapers. Maybe you're eating cake out of diapers. So my mother-in-law was kind enough to host her baby shower at a nice venue and already had diaper cakes made from my sister-in-law's baby shower 2 months ago. Doesn't she need those diapers? She asked if she wanted us to repurpose for ours. Well, our cousin didn't make hers yet, and quite honestly, I didn't want that monstrosity, so I tried to drop hints that we didn't need it. Well, when she was visiting in February, our baby shower is in March, she again insisted she was making this diaper cake. To which my wife awkwardly said, we don't need more. We already have 2. Thank you, though. At this, she seemed to shut down and look like she was going to cry. She then replied, well, I am still making it. Me and my wife just exchanged WTF looks. So later that day, I said, if it means that much to you make the cake, we simply do not have room at the venue, so bring it to the house. She then replied, well, I will bring another table then. Now, keep it.
But also, like, or just give us the diapers, like, without a bunch of tape and ribbons on them and, like, hot glue. Maniac.
Keep in mind, this was a nice venue and did not have the space.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
I decided to call her on the phone since it would be easier not to have to deal with her emotional fallout. I thanked her for her thoughtfulness, but let her know not to make this cake. She was so upset she couldn't even respond on the phone. Later that night, she texted me. She just wanted to make me feel special because she knows none of my other family shows up. I thanked her again for her thoughtfulness, and I appreciated her sentiment. I kept it short and ended things with what I thought was a resolution. I thought she would show up to the baby shower, and we could just move on. Well, the day of our baby shower, she no-called, no-showed. My sister sheepishly told me Leanne didn't call. Well, she said she couldn't get dog care. Fast forward a month and a half, and she still hasn't talked to me. Now, I'm quite frankly seething. Some people have mentioned I should just reach out and make it seem like we're all good. However, this is my pattern. I make people feel comfortable when they've been shitty to me. When I express a need that differs from them, I am the jerk in their eyes, even when it centers on events that are actually, in fact, about me. So I haven't reached out to smooth things over or even call her out for this immature behavior.
Great.
I'm pissed that another family member has tried to bring conflict to a special event. Part of me wants to cut ties. I want to unfriend her on Facebook. I vastly wanted to call out her extreme pettiness or just cut her out entirely. So, Liza and Emily, what are your thoughts on the situation? P.S. Important photos included. Let me share this with you because
Of what?
some of them are of you.
Me?
Just a bunch of saved down photos of you. No. You with the couple.
Oh, that was in the book.
Bookends.
I love it.
And then
Was bookends.
let me see. Here's the tables. This is where this
don't
was
need to
the
see.
diaper cakes that they had.
Oh, it's a tiny diaper cake. Look, here's the.
You could have fit her diaper
Listen.
cake.
This is not about the diaper cake, which is so funny that it's like seemingly hinging on that.
Yeah.
I love that she's just like really pregnant holding the cat. I'm like, get the dog in the picture. I get it. Your cousin isn't rude. It's not about attention. She has a chemical imbalance. This person has a mental illness. And you're right. She is making it about her because any sane person would be like, oh, you don't want a diaper cake? Okay. It has to be about her because her family is also shitty. And she reaches out to you because you're the only stable one. But you're not her mother. Moreover, she's a liability. Even moreover, you now have your own baby to worry about. The fact that she's had an abortion, thank God, good for her. Because most women who are crazy like that would be like, I'm having this baby anyway. That part, a lot of this is neither here nor there. What is the blessing? I don't even know why you're upset. The blessing is she was so hurt by this, probably doesn't even think about it, that she took herself out of your life. Great.
Yeah.
Get gone.
Yeah.
You had the baby? Have the baby.
Yeah.
You had the baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a mom now. You've got other things to deal with. This person will never
Or
grow
maybe
out
they
of
haven't.
this.
I don't know. It's
Okay,
close.
whatever. This person will never grow out of this because this is something that needs like medication. And it'd be one thing if she was an incredible hang and like such a good person and you were like, I've got time for this, but you don't. There is no reason to call her out. It is not something that she can fix. It's not like she's an alcoholic and if she stops drinking and does therapy, she'll come around to it. This is an issue that she'll probably be dealing with the rest of her life. You can save a little bit of grace for her because she's not a bad person. It's weird that you're saying this because it's like reminding me of someone in my life, not even really my life, like a tangential family member who has this. Don't worry about it. You don't need, you could unfriend her, but
Not even
my
worth it.
worry is that will trigger her
Yes.
to be like, hey, I should reach back out. Let it lie. And in a couple months, she'll reach out having nothing to do with this. And she'll be like, hey, I want to stop by and see the baby. And you just keep her at an arm's length. We can't. Sorry, I'm busy. And if she ever has the wherewithal to call you on it, you can be like, yeah, you seem so upset at the diaper cake and everything after we told you what we needed. I was just giving you your space. You have to treat her like the child that she is. But I'm so glad she has distanced herself. Do not go looking for a reason to connect.
No, what would your ideal outcome of that be? I understand you
that's
want
right.
your feelings to be heard because this is the
Yes.
100th family member who has stomped all over your boundaries. But
she is not your mother.
no.
She's not your mother.
No.
So you're not going to get healed from this. Even if she's like, I'm so sorry. You still don't trust this girl. There's nothing to be gained by rekindling this. Sorry, Emily. Go ahead.
No, that's it. Like you're not, there's nothing to get out of this interaction for you. You don't have to deal with her anymore. Great. I hope she's laying on a throne of diapers from her giant cake that she was not supposed to make.
Good for you for being super healthy and drawing these boundaries and knowing that your family's fucked up. You come from toxic stock.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with you. You're not responsible for your family. And it's so great that you know that. So many people in your position are just crazy along with their families. Or let it take over. Good for you for drawing those boundaries. And the stronger your sense of self becomes, hopefully the easier it is to push these things away. I thought this question was going to be about your mom. It's just some lunatic
No, we already
cousin.
addressed them up. Well, I'd argue
saying.
this as well is that, okay, the advice that we gave about your mom previously was not the advice for you. You didn't go with it. That's fine.
That's your fault.
Well,
I get
no.
context.
No, I
Said.
think part of this podcast is like that coin flip thing where you say like, you can't make a decision. You say heads this, tails this. As you flip the coin, you know in your head what you want it to be. You know what you want it to say. You know you want it to land on tails. I think sometimes hearing someone say, you should reunite with your mom for these reasons. You hear that and you go, no, those don't apply to me. I know for a fact I shouldn't reunite with her. I think that opposite advice can also be helpful as long as you can like think for yourself, which you clearly can.
It's also a Friends reference, remember? Like Phoebe was pregnant and she was like, flip a coin. Or Phoebe knew what the baby was and Rachel, she was like, call it. All right. People who, I haven't even watched Friends in like 20 years, but I remember that.
God,
Anyway,
yeah.
go live your beautiful, it is sad. It is sad to not have a tie with your family, but it's nothing you did. Go live your beautiful wife with your beautiful wife and
He
that
said,
fit
go live your
cat.
beautiful wife.
Go live your beautiful life with your beautiful wife and that cat and your new baby.
Yeah.
And make your own family.
Yeah.
This girl is not gone from your life. She'll be back, and you just need to reframe it like she's cool for a cup of coffee, but you cannot be responsible for this. It'd be one thing if it was your sister or like you grew up, like, but it's erratic and it's hard to deal with, and it is all about her because she's a child. Okay.
Did you know Friends came out 30 years ago?
Ugh.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
1994.
God. Remember how thin they were?
So thin.
How thin.
So
thin.
stylish.
So stylish and so thin.
So
Rock
thin.
hard nips in every scene.
The men
Like,
and the
this is-
women. No one was like bulky.
Chandler was. Well, we know why now. But what's insane is that it's like a family multicam sitcom, but Jennifer
hard.
Aniston's nipples were just rock hard the whole time. And we're like, you know it's on purpose.
The costumer is like, no bra with this one. It's like,
Let's see those nips.
I wouldn't wear that out of a store. You're wearing that on television? Good for you.
It's got to be a little sex. No, but it's a family show.
I don't know. I watched it as a kid and then rewatching it when I watched it as a kid, I liked Monica best. Then rewatching as an adult, I liked Rachel best because I didn't get any of her jokes when I was a kid. Rachel's jokes. I just thought like Monica's crazy. She's fun. I still like her, but
Was Rachel Green's sense of humor too advanced for you?
it was
me
too
tell you.
advanced.
The star power that Jennifer Aniston had, partly, I mean, her hair was like the thing.
Yeah.
But America has such a preference for light over dark. The fact that Courtney Cox was a model, was like in a music video, like it is so stunning.
And
It
had
was
the
Eclipse-
better films. She did the Scream films, far more successful than any
Way
Jennifer
later.
Aniston film.
I'm just saying, pound for pound, Courtney Cox was stunning. They were both funny, but Jennifer Aniston's hair was like lighter. So people were like,
Mhm.
she's the hotter. The fact that it eclipsed Courtney Cox, who is structural perfection,
yeah.
is crazy.
Well, 'cause
And they were both just so hot.
Jennifer Aniston is like the epitome of all American in terms of looks and vibe. Like very golden retriever, just like warm and like Rachel was like a little dumb, but so sweet and so sunny.
And
Yeah.
Jewish. No one's talking about the fact that
Rachel
Rachel Green, Jewish. You see her who they cast as her parents?
Well,
That's a
and
Jewish girl.
Barry, the guy she was going to marry, was Jewish.
And I think they gave her a different nose.
Oh, she
Maybe
used
I'm
to have a
thinking of
different
something
nose. No, yeah, because when they go back in the past, Monica's fat and she has a different nose, and Chandler has
A
Flock
different
of Seagulls
nose.
hair. Yeah.
And they never talk about the fact that she's Jewish. And they lightly touch on the fact that Ross was Jewish, but they never mention that Monica is her sister, and she's Jewish.
Right.
Everybody's Jewish.
They spend a lot of time talking about whether Joey was or was not uncircumcised for that audition, that full frontal audition.
Joey is Italian, which is basically Jewish. The only person who's not Jewish is Chandler Bing. And you know he's not Jewish because at the end of the show, they moved to Oklahoma.
Well, and
Which-
because
Very, very few Jews do.
his dad is Kathleen Turner.
It's a very progressive thing. Jews are very progressive. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, hi Liza. Me, 38, female. I am married to another woman, 39, female, and together we have 3 children, one 4.5-year-old boy that she gave birth to, and a 2.5-year-old girl and almost 3-month-old son that I recently gave birth to on February 17th. Our children all come from the same donor, and we are part of a Facebook group that allows us to keep up with the other donor families. I have the last 6 vials of the donor's sperm left in inventory for me to use. One of the other donor's mothers posted on our Facebook group asking if anyone had any donor sperm left that she could use. My wife asked me to release it back into inventory so that the other mother could purchase it. The mother made the request almost a year ago, and I didn't initially release it back then because my fertility doctor told me to keep all the vials until my baby was born in case something happened and I needed to go through another procedure. Now that my son has been born, I've been having feelings of wanting to have another child. I'm not 100% sure about this since I'm still in the early stages of postpartum, but I like to keep that option available. My wife is a great mom and makes having children together easy since she is extremely organized and conscientious. The postpartum time hasn't been that stressful for me since I have the support that I need in terms of childcare from daycare in addition to my wife. My wife thinks we have enough children, but she initially thought that 2 children was enough and was against having a 3rd child. Since her youngest son was born, she's been doting over him and hasn't been resentful or angry about her decision to move forward with the third child, which was mostly my decision since I was the pregnant one. I want to mention that we are financially well off. We both have good jobs, and I inherited money from 3 deceased relatives, my mother, father, and half-sister
From 3
that
of
all
my
died.
parents.
She listed them. My mother, father, and half-sister that all died within the past 2.5 years. The death of my parents and sister has made me realize the importance of family and has given me the desire to build my own since the closest people in my life are now gone. Spoke with a therapist last year to help deal with my grief. I think that it helped. My sister never had any children, and there are definitely feelings of guilt that my parents and sisters never got to know my children very well. I'm having difficulty navigating the decision to have more. I think I can convince my wife to have one more, particularly if I carry it, although it would be great if she carried it so we could each have 2 biological children. It doesn't seem like it matters to her if she has more bio children. How do I make the right decision? This would be the last baby I would want to carry, given I'm almost 40. So it'd be something I would try doing after my youngest son turns 1 if my wife doesn't want to carry. Should I contact the other donor mom and see if she's still interested in the sperm? She already has 1 child by a donor and would like another from him. Trying to be considerate of her, but I need to make a decision first about what I want to do. P.S. First saw you on Joe Rogan's podcast. I love your stand-up. I hope to make it to one of your shows when you're back in LA from your tour. Thanks, Lauren.
Literally said by no one ever. Like, saw you on Joe Rogan and I wanted to hear more. So thank you, Lauren. I always count on the women listening to that to be like, yeah, this is a rational woman. I'd like to know more about her book.
I have some problems with, not problems. Okay, you go. Do you want to go first?
The donor thing, just for my own edification and for anyone listening, this is like one guy's sperm.
Yes.
That is so incredible. Other women want it?
So it sounds like they just, all the people that used this guy's sperm are in a Facebook group together. So one lady
I don't like that.
Had 1 baby by him, and these people have had 3 babies by him and have 6 more vials of his sperm that they're holding on to in case they want a 4th baby. Now, here's my concern. Less so about that and that woman, and maybe like give her half your sperm. But the fact that if this being a woman writing in does change it, because if this was a man, I'd be against you. But you're a woman, so fine. I don't love that you're saying your wife didn't want a 3rd child. You were able to convince her, and now she dotes on the child, so you think that's proof that you know what's best. Yeah, it's her child. She's not going to be like, ugh, I didn't want you. I only wanted 3. So you already pushed it once. You want to push it again when she has said 2 children is enough and guilt her into having a 4th child because that's what you think you want. I don't know. I think you need to have a further conversation with her because it's not proof. The fact that your wife is good with your children is not proof that you were right and she was wrong about not wanting a 3rd child.
I'm going to just take a step back here. All of your decisions are being made in a pressure cooker because you are not 25. So you're like, if we're going to do it, we got to do it now. On the chance that we want another one. Look, if you have a 4th baby, of course you're going to love it. It's a lot. No one can tell you what's right for you. I know that for me and my husband, having 3 kids is out of the question. I also know that because biologically I had my kids, I know that adoption was never something I wanted to do. Like everybody has different capacities. So I can't put myself in your shoes because everything that you're experiencing is so foreign to me. That doesn't make it good or bad. It just isn't me. And I don't know the reasons your wife does or doesn't want that. You are up against a clock. So even if you wanted more kids, you don't have the luxury of that time. Plus, you got the other lady breathing down your neck for like the best sperm in the world, apparently. But I get it. She wants to have another kid so her kid can have a sibling that is all biologically the same. And you are emotionally feeling a little off because you've lost a lot of your family. And so you're like, well, I'll just create more. I mean, 3 is plenty. You hear all the time women saying, oh, I want another baby, but my husband doesn't want it. I'm going to convince him. And the truth is that's okay because the wife is the one that will be doing so much of the work. We can't give you advice because it's a conversation you have to have with your wife. Please don't, like Emily said, like just because she loves your 3rd child, that's not like, see, and you would want more. I think you need to get to the root of why you want this fourth child, the real root of it.
Yeah.
You have created your own family. You have a wife and you have 3 kids. Did you grow up with 3 other siblings? So a family of 4 kids is very normal to you? Is it that you want to use this sperm and you kind of don't want to? You shouldn't have to consider this other woman, especially because I think you probably paid for this sperm. You need to do what you need to do. And then if she can have it later, that's great. Like that's not on you. But I think you and your wife need to get to the root of why you want this fourth one.
Right. What about 4 is going to make you feel good? At 4, will you be like, well, actually, we need 5, and then we need an even number, so we need 6, and then I still have a vial of sperm, so we need 7.
Right.
What is it about 4?
Is it just also, I don't think it is 4 as much as, is it that I could do it for a couple more years? I know I could.
Yeah.
And we have the sperm. If you didn't have the sperm, would you be saying this? Or does it feel like a bird in the hand? You're like, well, I've already got this, so I may as well do it. You know, is it like when there is a little bit more cake left over, you're like, well, I may as well eat it. Otherwise, it's going to go bad.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want my neighbor to eat this cake.
I also would wonder, how many vials does it take each time? You have 6. Could you give her 2? Now, I'm not saying she needs to be a factor in your family planning. I'm not. You talk to your wife first. But if she's in a similar predicament where she's trying to decide, what do? I'm 39. I want to, does this man have any sperm left? See with your doctor, could you comfortably give up 2 and still try 4 times? Like, or does it take all of them together and they just go nuts? Like, see if there's something you can give to her, but don't let her affect your choice. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many tries it took before, and getting older certainly doesn't help, but having had a baby once before does make it quote unquote easier. Like, we just decided to have Ethan and we did. No doctor's visits, no shots, no nothing. So there is something to be said for your body could just, do it. You definitely do not want to have to convince your wife.
It
You
sounds like
definitely
already
want
did.
her. I hear that, but I'm just saying, like, respect where you got to have a serious talk, because I'm not judging it, but you need to know why you want that baby. That's what I think.
Yeah. And why your wife doesn't.
Yeah, and make sure her answer is stupid. That way you can overrule it and be like, well, I'm getting in there.
Top of the cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob.
Really? It always goes by so fast.
Because we have so much fun together.
We do.
We do.
My top of the cob is, look, the internet is filled with garbage. We all scroll on Instagram too much. Most of it is useless content. And you trick yourself into it. It's like 1 a.m. and you're like, I do need to know the 5 favorite desserts of Queen Elizabeth, because someone's going to ask me one day and I'm going to be like, I have that info. I know how I can measure the inside out of an isosceles triangle. No problem. Every once in a while, though, I feel good when I'm on the internet because I'll see something and I will laugh versus just being like information taken in. And somebody, it was so funny to me because I hate, as the kids say, like, it hit so hard. It was so funny to me because I hate to say felt so seen because everyone said that, but I was like, oh, you got me. Because a lot of things on the internet, it's just like, that one plate at the cookout. And you're like, okay, I've never had a cookout. That one cousin who, and you're like, I don't have a lunatic cousin. Somebody posted it and I was moved to repost it. And it was basically, I'm going to read it to you right now.
Okay.
One of the only benefits of getting older is communing with other people who have gotten older and being like, oh my God, that's something we used to do. Like, there is a sense of communal time passing. And I live for that kind of stuff. And it basically was just somebody posted, my most millennial trait is big purchases must happen in big laptop screen.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's like, booking flights on a phone is crazy. That's laptop activity. Now, I have done it on a phone in a pinch, but I was like, truer words. Like, the amount of times I'm like, I can't do this. I have to get to my computer.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, it's already so nerve-wracking to purchase something because you're like, I know I'm going to do it wrong. Big things looking at real estate, buying plane tickets,
Yeah.
ordering
Sending
large
an important
things,
email.
furniture, sending an important email, not just firing it off with my pinky toes from my car. And I just love that. I was like, because it's something I've never told to anyone. And to me, that is stand-up. That is comedy in its purest sense, is when it's like, hey, Here's a thing that I thought only I did, and everyone's like, we do it too.
Yeah.
So I just loved that. I was like, yep,
Yeah.
I am an elder millennial, and big things need big screens.
Yeah. That's
All
a
right.
good one.
Yeah.
The fan tab of the cob is just want to thank you both for an amazing end to last week's podcast. Now, this was a few weeks ago. My job of the cob is the happy cry I enjoyed after listening to the two of you express your gratitude for the amazing female friendship you've had over the many years and many changes, especially on the cusp of Eliza's next big life change with the addition of baby tree frog number 2. Okay, so this was right before Ethan was born. I was a puddle of tears, and I sent a few of my closest friends a text after this episode. Be sure to tell Eliza the texts were free of robot scripted word vomit. Love to you both, Iliza. So I think
Alyssa,
this is you
what
with
I was-
an alias. Alyssa is writing in about our beautiful female friendship.
It is beautiful. And Alyssa, what I was hoping you would say was I texted the episode
I know.
to many of my friends to expand your listenership. And instead you just said, I love you, Lola. Be my friend. Well, that's very sweet. It is a true friendship. It's not like a girl boss femme power friendship. It's a real, you're being a turd today. I disagree with you. Getting into it. Real friendship.
Real friendship.
Real friendship.
My top of the cob is going into a not pointless, but a very specific kind of like boutique where you're like, what's happening here? I'd asked you, Eliza, I was trying to find a good non-alcoholic alcohol for a pregnant friend. And I was looking, and there's a store in the area called Soberish, and it's just like hundreds of non-alcoholic drinks in like gorgeous bottles, just all these nice things, which is not something I never spend money on like alcohol, but I was just in there and it was like female owned and curated. It was all healthy. And I was like, wow, so much care was put into this very specific store.
Niche
and
thing,
you can see it. Like you can see like this experience has been very highly curated. And it's just something, it's like not a need, it's like a want. And you're just like, oh, this is nice. I love browsing a store like that.
I love a well-curated store. And for what it's worth, when you compliment the store owner on that, they really appreciate it. Like I've gone into stores that are selling the same kind of tchotchkes, but like a vintage store, but you could tell that they like cherry pick the perfect things and put them together. And I will always like, your store is so well curated. Because the curatorial nature of art, like that's the difference. That's what separates the men from the boys.
Yeah.
Versus like bargain bins.
Well, and the owner was the one that was helping me. And so I said something along those lines to her, and she said, yeah, she's very careful. She reads all the ingredients on everything. They also had a lot of CBD stuff. And she's like, I don't take something if it tastes too hempy. I don't take, she's like, I've tried all these things. And I was like, I appreciate that. You're an expert. It was nice.
In that book I'm reading, in Filter World that I was talking about, Kyle talks about the curatorial nature, like how we would look at people's websites or their blogs or all these things at the, in like the early 2000s. And you look to people who were like tastemakers that would curate things, list their favorite, and Instagram now, like very few things are curated. It's all just like, here's what's popular, top search, here's the thing. And so it's less about personal taste and more about just about regurgitating what's clicked on the most. So what's popular just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and no one's like actually like curating. That's the reason you shop at a boutique versus a Marshall's or something like that. So I appreciate that. I do love a delicious non-alcoholic beverage. It is just as fun sometimes. And I find myself drinking less and less, and I will crush like 6 Gias. They are not meant to be crushed. I'm supposed to be sipping on it, but I love them. Please sponsor our podcast. Bottom of the cob. Well, we can end with mine. What's yours?
Okay. Mine is kind of related to curating and social media. When you look at a friend's post and you see what hashtags they've used, what they think describes their post, and you're just like, oh, they're like hashtag brunette hotties, hashtag model, hashtag, and you're like, like
It's not you. Yeah.
what do you like? There's this weird like avert your eyes kind of thing. It's like how I feel when somebody's eating in their car next to me. Like, don't look at them. Like, don't look at my hashtags. This is not for my actual friends.
Right.
This is for the algorithm. But to look at it and be like, oh, you put like food inspo and it's like something disgust, and you're just like, oh,
Yes.
is this who you think you are? And I
No,
worry
this is who they're
sometimes-
trying to attract, and you have to see them doing it. It's like watching
Right.
someone flex in the mirror before a date.
Because sometimes I'll post like joking things about the cats, and then I'm like, do people think that I'm being like? Sometimes the comments where I'll be like, do they think that I'm being genuine and I think I'm an influencer? Like, I just think this is funny, and I'm watching my own video I made 40 times. But so when I see other people's, I'm like embarrassed for them, and it's
You know what?
ugh.
It's embarrassing because it's like seeing influencers in the wild. Like, you're not supposed to see someone
Someone
make their
holding
reel
phone. Ugh.
or like making a boomerang. Not that anyone does it anymore, but I will tell you, everybody is trying to make money and get famous.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to see the hashtags because none of us are going through those hashtags at the bottom. Like, got to find the one for me. Oh, hashtag banana pudding. I love it. You're searching for it,
Yeah.
but we shouldn't have to see the searches. Just like I don't have to see if you tag someone, you can like hide it under the image.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to know that
Okay.
about people that
I hear
I
you.
that I like. All right.
I don't want to see how the sausage is made. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Fan bottom. Always wondering whether my thin curly hair could look cute if I followed some 30-step curly girl method, but
Nope.
never having the patience or time to actually figure that out. And so I will forever live and die by my blow dryer, Chelsea.
Chelsea, first of all, call it fine, not thin. That's what we do. Second of all, that's the thing. People are like, oh my God, wear your curly hair. Your hair has to be so thick for the curls to lay, not like puff up weird and look frizzy.
Mhm.
And even if they were defined, it's going to look like you have like 6 ringlets. I get it. I feel you. It has to be the perfect haircut, and you still have to be willing to wear it curly. My hair lives in a bun. Thankfully, it's acceptable, and I look okay. I get you. We don't live in a society that rewards any hair other than thick, straight hair.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just telling you what it is. People get mad at me. You're discriminating. I'm like, call your like colonial oppressors. Leave me out of it. And learn what colonial oppressor actually means before you like blindly attribute it to Israel, because that's so ignorant. Okay. My bottom of the cob is I had to scare my daughter yesterday because we have some rocks outside of our front door that have a fan painted one of Blanche and one of Tianfu. And I only tell you that so that you understand what happened. And Noah and I were in the kitchen, and Sierra went to go do something, and I heard the front door. And I come out and I'm like, and she's just standing there holding one of these rocks, and the front door is locked, which means this little girl at 2.5 unlocked our front door, went out. It's a courtyard, but still went outside, picked up something, a rock, came back in and locked the door. She locks it because we always lock it. So she didn't do it to be deceptive. And I was like,
Yeah.
Did you just go outside? Did you just go outside? And she was like, yeah. And I try to explain to her, I'm like, somebody could take you. Like, I'm just like, let's just put this out there. But I don't think she understands that. And I don't
Right.
want her to be afraid of people. So I changed it to, I've worked very hard at letting her know that the owl that we hear outside at night is not going to hurt her. And I just went, the owl's going to get you.
No, don't believe the owl.
And then I changed it. I go, and I was like, what's a bird she'll never see? I go, the condor, listen to me. If you go outside without mommy or daddy, I said, or your nanny or grandma or grandpa, the condor will come. It will pluck out your eyes and it will kill you.
Oh, God.
You can never open the front door alone. Do you understand? The condor will hurt you. Like, I just kept trying. This is why we have scary stories for kids. It is to scare you
Yeah.
into doing the right thing because you can't comprehend that someone will take you and fucking rape you and sell you. And so I just kept making it about this condor, but she only remembers owl. She's like, the owl will take your eyes. I'm like, that, whatever you need to hear.
Oh, no.
I hated it, but I was like, this is so important. And now I have to like get a different lock. But like, sometimes you need to scare your kids because they don't have the brain to understand how horrible the world is.
The politeness of coming back in and locking the door back up that's good.
She would have gotten
manners.
away with it too, but she was holding something from the outside. I'm like, that condor will scratch off your arms. Do you
Right.
understand how sad
Has
mommy
she-
would be?
Has she gone out other times and not brought in a treasure?
I don't think so. Like, it was sometimes when you have kids, like in one weekend, they grow. Like, she just like turned into a 3-year-old overnight. And you're just like, what is going on? You want to rebel, fine, but like you can't. That's so unsafe. Anyway,
She
the
loves that
condor,
rock, though.
trying to drill it into her head that this thing will pluck out your eyes and eat your tongue. Just trying to I'm like trying to conjure up something horrible. I don't even care if it gives her nightmares. She cannot go outside by herself.
Don't blame the owl, though.
Whatever animal in flight you're afraid of, you need to be afraid of it. And you know what? I don't care if that's bad or wrong parenting, because guess what? No one knows what they're fucking doing. And you got to make it up. So, and then I made the sound effect and I went, and she was like, I don't like that. And I was like, well, I don't like you opening the front door. She's like, Sierra doesn't like that. And I was like, well, now you know. Hates it. Now she knows.
Oh, no.
I told her, I was like, it's going to get
you. Do that right now from another room, just like, oh no, it's coming.
Catch me outside. How about that? All right, folks, we got a fun, special 300th episode coming up in June. So get ready.
July.
Okay. And we just put on sale extra shows. We added a show in New York. I added a show in Salt Lake City for the taping. It's going to be so much fun. And I was listening back to the last episode for quality assurance. I'm always plugging stuff at the end. Please send this episode to a friend. We would love more. We have plenty of listeners, but we'd love more. And those are the important things.
The end is where you plug.
Plug it up. Iliza.com/tour for tickets. We'll see you soon.
It's time to have your high five moment with High Five Casino, the top social casino where the action and real prizes never stop. Fun spins and big wins are right at your fingertips with over 1,000 games, including High Five Casino exclusives. High Five Casino is always free to play with free coins given out every 4 hours. Sign up today for a free welcome offer that can get you spinning and winning right away. Visit highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.